Let's do it.
All right.
Good. All right, let's go.
All right. Welcome to this Bathurst Giants podcast. My name is Ricky Ettridge. I'm the owner of Halfback Digital Media, and this is a little mini series for the Bathurst Giants as they enter the world of podcasting. In this episode, we'll learn a little bit more about the Bathurst Giants, their history, how they've been going this season. And I'd like to welcome in the guests for this episode and our hosts moving forward, Brad, Lockie, and Kobe. How are you tonight, fellas?
Very good, Ricky. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Thanks for having us. Thanks for having me. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking up the offer of these podcasts to sort of grow the club's name a bit further.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Beautiful. All right, well, we'll get straight into it. So, obviously, as I said, Bathurst Giants up in New South Wales. You guys play in the AFL Central West League, which, from my understanding, is quite a small league.
Yeah, relatively. The first grade comp sadly only has 4 teams, and this year, so does the second tier, and the senior women's comp is just hanging on with 5 teams as well.
Do you find it hard to obviously I know there's 2 clubs in Bathurst, so from my understanding, from looking in today, you guys share a venue with another Bathurst club, is that correct?
To an extent. So we share the complex, but we each have our own ground. And as of last year, 2025, that we had lights installed up on our ground. But years gone by, it was we had to share the bottom ground with the Bush Rangers for training nights, and obviously on alternate nights. But since a few dedicated people in the club got a hold of a grant for some lights, we're now able to train up on our ground on George Park number 1.
Do you find
it is one complex, yeah.
Do you find it strange, sort of sharing with your local rival? There's a couple of clubs down here that share grounds, but they're in completely different leagues. Where you guys play against each other a handful of times a season.
Yeah, it always was a bit of an issue that we're always wanting to get away from, having to, like, as you said, share the ground with a rival. Fortunately, we did not have to train on the same nights, but it was still one of those things we were always eager to get away from.
Do you get many players sort of going in between the 2 clubs, being the fact that they are at the same place, or not really?
No, we get very few, really. We've had 1 or 2 that have come over our way from them, and there's been 1 or 2 in the past that have gone over to them from us. But for majority of the part, it's been, they've got their guys that play with them, and our guys play with us, and there's not really much swapping between the 2.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That sounds good. I'm going to start with you, Lockie. What's your connection to the Giants, mate, and how did you get down there?
So I started playing for the Bathurst Giants. I was good mates with one of the boys who was already playing, and he was saying to me throughout school that I should be playing, but I've never really been big into AFL up until that point. Like, I've just always been very rugby league and cricket. Like, that were my 2 sports that I mainly grew up on. So I spoke to Dad about it, and he seemed keen. So I went to training, and AFL is just like, it kind of has a weird effect on you. Like, you can say you hate it as much as you want, but it's not until you actually go to training and you play a game of AFL that it actually, like, it's like, I've even recruited some of my mates from school to have a game, like, to have a few footy games, and they absolutely love it. Like, it's a good club with awesome people inside of it. Like, you build friendships there that'll last a lifetime. No matter where, like, if you move away from the club or if you move towns or whatever, like, it's a very tight-knit community in the club, and that's what I really love.
Yeah, it's good. And how about you, Kobe? How did you get started at the Giants?
Well, Dad, sort of from Dad, really. He was like part of the Bush Rangers, like our rivals, you could say. A big part of them. And then once this big split happened, like all the OGs sort of made the Giants happen. And then, ever since juniors kicked off, I'd started playing from then. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Well, could one of you talk us through the split that you spoke about with the Giants starting up?
Yeah, so we formed off of a breakaway from the bush rangers. We had a group of very dedicated parents who were really keen to put you'd say put more of an emphasis and a focus on junior development. And we felt with the environment that was there at the time that it was better off starting up a new club. And as Kobe said, his father was one of the key pillars behind that, as was my family. We all sort of ventured over and helped start it up. And yeah, that was 2014 when we had our first year. And there's actually fun fact. Kobe currently plays in our first grade side with Lockie, but Kobe started in Auskick, so he's progressed all the way from Auskick up to senior men's first grade, which is a feat not too many can claim, actually.
That's fantastic. They're always good when you can start them young and they buy into the club so heavily, and obviously with his old man being such a big part, very hard to step away from the club. So how many? So you got what? So you said you got four teams in your current division.
Yeah. So we've got an under 12s, two under 14s, a youth girls, and an under 17s in the junior space, and then we have our we used to have three senior teams: a first graders, reserve grade, and a senior women's. We unfortunately lost reserve grade and senior women's just through lack of players. Just crippled by mainly people moving away, which has been really sad. So we're operating with just the one senior side, which is our first grade at the moment.
Do you find it hard to get juniors to come in? Obviously, being in New South Wales, Aussie rules isn't the number one sport or very really spoken about. Is it hard to get them in, but once they're in the door, they sort of stick around, like Lockie said?
It's you'd be surprised. So our junior numbers, we've been quite fortunate. Basically, since we started, our junior numbers have always been up around, if not at the very top of the Central West in terms of quantity. So we've always had really good numbers in our junior grades. The problem that you find when you're blooding all these juniors, especially the really good ones, is eventually they're going to move away. So we get them for a couple of years in the senior space, and then we lose them. But in terms of our junior teams, like, we've always been pretty spoilt with numbers in that regard.
Just out of curiosity, obviously not from the area, what's the reason most of them move away?
There's a whole host of things. University being the main one. A lot of them want to go to university in Newcastle or Sydney. Wollongong, yeah. A lot of it's for career prospects. Others just want to change the scenery. Better footy, as Kobe said. Yeah, there's a host of reasons. I would say university would be the main one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, being the fact you got so many juniors, is your senior team quite young on the age bracket? So you're both nodding your head very quickly there.
Yeah, massively.
I think our average age is what, like 19 or
Oh,
20?
Yeah, not even. Yeah.
Like the two boys sitting on either side of me are only just recently turned 18, and there's probably half a dozen 16 or 17-year-olds in our team, if not more, and then there's also a handful of 18-year-olds in that as well.
So what's the oldest bloke in the team? What, 22, 23?
I think our oldest player is 33.
Okay,
we've only got it's Jimmy. Oh, yeah. There's probably only three or four guys in our senior squad, like myself included, that are north of 30.
Yeah, right. I played at a club down here that I think we had two blokes that were south of 30, and which were all hanging on, just waiting to play 35s. So how's the season been looking so far for you guys, for across the board for all your teams?
Yeah. Well, this season, because we lost so many key players from the team that we've been playing with over the last 3 years, we won a premiership, and then, as Brad touched based on, people moved away for, scenery, or they just fell out of love with the game, or they went to uni. But coming into this season, we lost a few of our really key players, and that's kind of opened the door for some more of us younger blokes who can kind of adapt into that role. But like, because the culture's so tight and everyone gets around each other, like we could lose by 50 points or 100 points, and that doesn't really bother us because what our coaches are trying to really drill into us this season is, because we've got such a young side, a new look side with a bunch of fresh faces. So we're just, trying to implement strategies and what we want to, like our goal for what we want to achieve over the next few years. That's sort of what we've been trying to implement this season. We've had a few wins, had a few losses, but it's sport. But you love, like, that's what sport does. Though you love the game, you play it. But yeah, can't really complain when you're having fun.
Yeah. Sort of backtrack a little bit. So obviously you guys are saying your team's very young. What are the other clubs in your league like? Are they young, a bit older, or is it sort of the same across the board?
I'd say the team that's probably the next youngest from ours would you say be Dubbo or Orange?
Orange.
Yeah. The oldest team in the comp, I would say, would be Bushrangers.
Yeah.
But it's an old team, but it's a very good team. Like they've played in the last 21 grand finals.
Oh,
Yeah, consecutive.
And they're more than likely they're a good chance to play in this one as well.
Oh, wow. So obviously the Bushrangers, it's a very short trip for you guys to go play them. What's the travel like for the other leagues? I know down here when we get out to the country, you can be a 4-hour round trip for some games.
Dubbo from here is 2.5 hours.
Yeah, and it's like bumpy road. Like you get out of the car, but like it depends. Like when you're playing juniors driving a Dubbo, because you start earlier, so that's an earlier wake up. But then when you play seniors, because it's a later kickoff, you can somewhat kind of battle your fatigue before you play. But yeah, I'd just rather stay in Bathurst.
Yeah. I will give Dubbo credit because, like, Orange is only 45 minutes from here, whereas Dubbo is the furthest from anyone. So they're every second week they're doing a 5-hour round trip to play a game of footy.
Yeah.
See, that's dedication. So you guys, so you got so there's 4 teams in your comp. How many rounds do you guys play, and how many times do you play each other?
We play each other 4 times a season.
Yeah.
And then you go on to the finals. And with the finals, everyone makes it because there's only 4 teams.
That was my next question, being there's a 4-team comp. Is it a top 4? So
it used to be top 3 with 4th place missing out, but 2 years ago they changed it to make it, even though it's only 4 teams, it's a top 4 final series. So you could get belted every week by 100 points and make finals.
has anyone, even when it was a top 3 comp, has there ever been a third spot that's been sort of belted week in, week out that seems to turn it on during finals?
It's pretty well balanced.
Yeah.
Like especially like when you just have 4 teams, that one dominant side is just going to hammer everyone, and then you'd probably have your 2 teams that are kind of, I'd say, pretty equal, and then 4th place is just there. But it's pretty ordinary, but you can't really do much.
Do you find it hard to, excuse me, sort of stay motivated? So one of the clubs that we're doing filming for this year, their comps dropped to a 5-team comp, top 4, and we're 10 rounds into their season. They can't finish any higher than 3rd or lower than 3rd. So I've always wondered, do you find it hard to be motivated when you play against a top team every 4th or 5th week? You play, you're sitting 2nd or 3rd, you can't leave that position after 10 rounds. Is it hard to stay motivated and keep going, or because you know that you're going to be playing finals, you can work towards that?
I'd say you don't really think about it much during the week. Like for me personally, because I'm so fixated on the team's performance and my performance is just one game at a time. But I'd say it probably wouldn't be till maybe the last 3 or 4 rounds of the regular season. That's when you actually start trying to set a target for where we want to finish in terms of the ladder. Like finishing 3rd or 1st, you obviously have that home final game. So I'd say they're probably I'd probably say they're probably decent spots to finish, but yeah, you don't really think about it much during the season, but yeah.
So from what I just heard, your league, if you finish in the top two, you host the finals for that round? Or
What
is
is
it a
it?
neutral
Fourth?
venue?
That's
We do Super Saturday in Bathurst.
yeah.
So it's what
if you finish on so if you finish on top, you host the whole
Grand final. Yeah,
the whole final series,
Oh,
the
okay.
whole major semi-final, and the minors, because George Park's got the two side by side grounds, so you'd have the first place that hosted on their ground, and they'd play second, and then 3 and 4 would play on the other ground.
So realistically, if you guys were to finish, the Bush Rangers were to finish first, and you guys were to finish third, you'd get the home final on your deck.
Yeah.
So you could probably finish fourth and still get the home final on your deck, which wouldn't be a bad result.
Yeah. Depending on how it very well could be a major semi-final in Dubbo this year, depending on how they go, because it's probably the gap between first and second this year is probably tight as it's been for a long time.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
if because in the past, Jesus, what do you think? The past close to 10 years, the major semi-final has been in Bathurst, so it's just been so easy for them to go play all the games here with the two grounds. But with it being somewhat different, well, I shouldn't say it. If it does pan out that the Dubbo finish on top, they'll send the major semi-finals to Dubbo, no question, and they may even put the minor semi-finals on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Who knows?
So with all your juniors, do your juniors also play on Saturdays, or are they on, like down here, a lot of our juniors are sort of split between Saturdays and Sundays? What's it like up at Bathurst?
All our juniors are on Sundays.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the 12s will start at 9:30 in the morning, and then the under 17s will be a 2:30.
Yeah.
Game. If you're an unfortunate parent that has a kid in the under 12s and kids in the under 17s, like this man's folks, you're there from 8:30 till 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. Yeah.
It's an 8-hour day.
Do the juniors all have play against the same teams as you guys, or is there a few other clubs involved? And
There's no different clubs, but there's only in the 12s and 14s. There's only 3 teams. There's us, Orange, and Dubbo. Bush Rangers sadly don't have any junior teams. They haven't for the last couple of years, and there's only us and Orange in the youth girls and under 17s. Dubbo are sort of going through a bit of a transition, but they'll have youth girls. Well, they'll definitely have under 17s next year, I think, and maybe some youth girls. They got some good 14s coming up.
yeah, so my assumption would be that if your juniors, the two clubs that would play against each other, all the juniors will play against the same team on the Sunday at the same venue. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. With it being the way it is, and because we have two under 14s teams, there's more often than not going to be not so much double headers, but both of our 14s teams will play on that day. So there's because it removes the bye being a 14 comp, so you could have like Dubbo and Orange could say come here to play 14s, or if there's a game in Dubbo, Orange will travel there to play us, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, so there's a lot of driving when it comes to footy up there, from the sounds of it.
Oh,
Yeah. It's a bit unfortunate, more so for the likes of Dubbo that have to travel do a big trip every second week, whereas we get it easy having another Bathurst club plus Orange just down the road.
Yeah.
Has there ever been any other clubs sort of in the area that have tried to get up, or there's been talk of another club coming in or anything like that, or is it sort of set in stone where you guys are and everything?
Yeah, look, well, Cowra and Parks are in the reserve grade comp. There used to be a Mudgee team, which is only about an hour and a half away. Young folded about 10 years ago, but they were around for a long time.
Bring back a Mudgee team.
Yeah, Mudgee are trying to get up. Again, they've got a really strong Oz kick program, so they're hopefully might be in the works and even might have some senior teams in the coming years.
There was a Kelso team way back, ages ago, years and years ago.
I do find it funny when you say only an hour and a half up the road.
Yeah, well, compared to Dubbo.
Yeah.
All
Still a terrible drive though.
All right. Before I let you guys take over, I've got two more questions. And as a lifelong footy head, these are two of my favourite things. Do your club have a fine system?
Oh
Unfortunately, not.
no, but we had a concept in under 17s when Brad was the coach. It was just a thing where you had between training sessions, between one training session on a Wednesday night and another Wednesday night, during that whole week, if someone's done something stupid, then you call them out at training. So that system was called the D head of the week system, where everyone would sit in a circle and then I'd be like, oh, this bloke here, for example, this bloke here liked his own post on Facebook or something. So we all sit around the circle and then we tell all the boys what has happened, and then everyone would vote for the D head of the week.
Was there any punishment to come out of that, or was just the name itself was enough?
There was a stupid hat that we had. I can't remember what it said on it, but you had to wear it for the next training, and you had to rock up to the game with it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Who won it that year? Oh, it was
Watto or
that's
Noonan.
Right. How was Watto?
Yeah,
the
Watto,
first
yeah.
year we did it. He snuck a cheat sheet into his school test and still failed the test.
But yeah, there isn't much of a fine system in first grade though.
Yeah. We need to bring that.
Yeah,
we need to have it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Because of the age of the two younger fellas, this is probably going to be more directed at you, Brad. Have you guys have footy trips?
No, I can't say we have any footy trips outside of the games. Really, there's been the couple of times where we've tried to arrange, say, like a trip out to the dam and camp in the cabins out there, but it's just never got off the ground. Unfortunately, around here with people with their other commitments, like we might be a better chance if we wanted to organise it this year.
Yeah,
with such a young group, but outside of the annual bus trip to Dubbo, we don't have any other sort of footy trips outside of that. But as Kobe said, we're looking at trying to start something up for this year.
Yeah, no, nice. I was going to say, when you are doing to do a 5-hour round trip once a year or however many times a year, that's enough there for a footy trip with the shenanigans I'm sure people can get up to.
Yeah, I think we go there twice this year. Yeah, we go to Dubbo twice.
Is there a big gap in between when you go up there, or is it like I'd assume you'd play every team once and then flip it again in the venue, then it gets flipped again back to the same?
Yes and no. Sometimes the fixtures are flipped, and other times we play the same team in back-to-back rounds. It's just I think it's just a wild card with the way the draw is, but the long haul trips to Dubbo are generally spread out. We wouldn't play them. Like we say, we wouldn't go there twice in the space of 3 weeks, for example. I think the last time we went there was about 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we're going there again this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've literally just sort of put together what you're saying, that they do that trip every second week, and that's a decent effort for them to be doing that.
Yeah, credit to them.
Absolutely. So, obviously, before I let you take over, one more thing. I'd be probably wrong not to ask this. Obviously, being in Bathurst and the Bathurst 1000, does it get busy around that part of the world?
Mate.
Does it do your head in how busy it gets?
It's a terrible place to live in race week.
It is awful.
I'm not a big racing fan, so it doesn't really interest me. But are you guys racing fans, or you just don't care and just get out of town for the weekend?
One weekend of the year, that's about it.
I think that's most people, isn't it? I know people that sit down and watch the Bathurst, and I've never heard them talk about supercars in their life.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Well, I'm going to let
miles around. It's ridiculous that whole week. Everything's just jam packed.
Mm-hmm.
They jack the local places jack their prices up for the weekend, I'd assume.
Oh yeah, you'd be mad not to, because where else are they going to get this stuff from?
That's it. All right. Well, I'm going to let you guys take over the show and just do what you guys want, and we'll go from here, and then we'll work from here for the next episode. So take it away, Brad.
All right, perfect. Thank you. So yeah, I thought we'd do a quick little sort of recap of the journey of the club, I suppose you could say. So we started in 2014 as a junior only club. We only had junior teams in the under 12s and the under 15s. It would gradually progress. We had our first senior team, which was a men's team in 2016, and that grew to 2018, our first senior women's team. They were our first senior premiership team, which was 2019, and then in 2021 we introduced reserve grade for the first time, and I feel like we would have been a red hot shout for the first grade premiership that year, but COVID shut the comp down. And then 2023 we won our first first grade premiership, which was fortunate enough we hosted on our ground. Our senior women, if you include the year that COVID got shut down because they didn't announce premiers, they just awarded minor premierships. They were undefeated that year, and they also won 2022, which would have made it 4 premierships in a row.
Yeah,
so they're certainly our most successful senior team, and we've had a lot of success in the junior space. So we've got a handful of under 12s premierships. We had a three-peat in the 14s, followed by 1 or 2 extra premierships. The under 17s, like not wanting to pump us up too much in that space because these boys played a fair bit of that, but we've been in every grand final of that age group since it's been going for the past 9 years, and been successful in most of those years, which is nice. And our youth girls have always been very strong. They've got a good host of premierships as well.
Yeah.
Our current leadership has been headed by Kathy Sloan since 2022, and all the work she does in the background is just phenomenal. Like, she was pretty instrumental in that grant we spoke about for the lights, alongside Stu and Simon Kay, the engineers for the drafting and everything. I'll let these boys talk more about the seniors, but our senior coaches are Andrew Collins and Mick Sloan, who are, fun fact, were actually junior coaches in our inaugural year as well, which is very nice to see that come full circle. We'll hopefully get some of these guys on, but we have our junior coaches as well. We've got Brett Lowe in the under 12s, Ben Wheatley and Henry Schumer coaching one under 14s team, with Dan Kirby in the other coaching the other team, myself and Scott Traves in the under 17s, and Miranda Webb in the youth girls. And obviously in our Oz kick and super kick is Stu Grilellis and Miranda Webb as well. So we've got a very dedicated group of parents. Most of them are parents that are coaching across the board in our juniors and seniors, which is really good to see. And where we currently sit now, I think our club's pretty well poised for the future.
Yeah, big time.
Plenty of good juniors coming up, and if we can hang on to them, it'll be a really good place to look on in a couple of years' time. But I'll sit aside for the next part and let these boys take over talking about the seniors, as they're the ones playing a part in the senior squad at the moment.
Yeah, so as I touched base on earlier, just about obviously losing some key players, so we basically had to fill the shoes of some pretty important players who played in certain spots over the last few years. So there's no real time to kind of go into your shell a little bit. Like, you just have to play your hardest, and then you have to train your hardest. Like, it's not like you ever rock up to training, like as small as the comp is. I can't remember a time even through our juniors where I've rocked up to training just angry, or I just haven't wanted to be there. And the transition from juniors up into seniors, it's almost like you're playing footy with a bunch of your older brothers, if that makes sense. And then you've got obviously your mates who you've been playing footy with since under 12s. Like, it's just a really tight knit circle, and there's a different mix of personalities, and it's like you just rock up a train and kick a footy, have a run, and you just have a laugh. It's good as. And after you bash yourself up playing footy, you just come back here to Panthers, and the beers are always cold. So at least you get a decent reward out of playing it. But yeah,
this year with the seniors is probably what more about bringing a good culture, bringing people back for next year, and getting like more games into like kids like me and him. And like there's about 10 other kids that we're just trying to like prepare for the next few years. So it's not just about this year, bringing that culture and all that.
Yeah. And one thing I probably should have mentioned as well when I was chatting away. So, you know, we've had a lot of people, you know, step away that have been really strong servants of the club and given a lot to the club. And you know, in our premiership year, like when we won first grade, our coaching panel was everyone who was involved in as a coach in our first ever year. So you had you know the two we got now with Mick and Redo, Daryl McCauley, who's since moved away. My dad was the head coach, and you know all these guys have had a lot of success as coaches and as players and as servants to the club. This particular group that I just spoke about gave a hell of a lot to this club, particularly in its early years, and it's you know it'd be nice to see them get the recognition they deserve down the track, and it's really good to see that you know Mick and Red are ready to do the long haul with this group. We knew that going into this season there was probably going to be a bit of pain with such a young list, but it's been really nice to see all these young kids develop and grow. Like some of them, it's their first year of playing seniors, and they're in our top 5 best players already. Just absolutely killing it. And with what's you know, because I get to see a lot of what's going on the Sunday footy with the juniors. There's a lot more of it coming as well, which is obviously very exciting for the future. As part of some of the things that we've been doing this year, there's some of the off-field stuff. We've got the two on either side of me are our they run our press conferences that we do every now and again after a Thursday night training session, where they sit down with a couple of the coaches and a member of the senior leadership group, and they come prepared with some questions. Some of them are footy related, some not.
Yeah.
And it just makes it a whole lot more fun. Like I'm happy to let you boys talk a bit about the press conferences and where that all started.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of a stitch up actually, because we just wanted to get in amongst the love of all the boys in the team. So me and Cobes, it started off like just doing silly stuff. Like we'd be on Snapchat and we'd just say press conferences. We'd pretend to be the coach of the club that we support.
Collingwood.
Yeah, so I'm a Collingwood supporter. So I'd send Cobes a video of me in my Collingwood jersey, and then we just pretend we're the coach of our AFL club and we're just answering all that. But then Cobes pulled a sneaky and he saved all the videos to his camera roll, and then he put him in the group chat. So then our captain and our coaches just told us, oh, why don't we do that for our team? And we didn't really have much of a choice at that point, but I guess it's something to kind of look forward to, and it's funny to you know watch all the videos and stuff. But yeah, it's some that we probably will be taking seriously over the next few years, just to kind of give a little laugh and make sure all the boys have something to talk about, or if they want to get involved in it, which would be pretty good.
Yep, agreed. And on top of that as well, like we have a host of functions that we have throughout the season. Like we recently had our trivia night, which the jury's out on whether some questions were answered legitimately or not.
Nah, me and Cobes, we won trivia, and everyone just got angry about it.
Yeah, and we always have it. With the Sir Doug Nichols round every year, we pick a team that will wear the Indigenous jumpers, and then we'll auction those jumpers off back here at the Panthers, which then goes into into a fund to aid the Indigenous community and also to help us run stuff like this. So we try and hold about between 3 and 5 functions a season outside of our presentation nights, just to make it, a really strong culture, I suppose you could say.
Yeah.
And just make sure everyone's tight knit and getting around each other.
But yeah, even if we're like just playing in Bathurst, even against like Bushes or Dubbo come here, we always just try to get back to the sponsors. Try to come here and
Because we're without sponsors, it's pretty simple. You don't support your sponsors, you don't play footy, because they're pumping money into our club that we can afford. The footies and the jerseys and whatnot. Like, yeah, it's always good it's something to look forward to when you wake up. Obviously, you have to get through the footy game if you want to have beers. But yeah. Anyways. Yeah.
So we thought that we might also throw it over to the three of us as well, with because the three of us have been around the club for a long time, and we've got plenty of really good memories playing here or just being involved. I suppose we wanted to each pick a favourite memory from the time around the place and what that sort of means to us.
Yeah.
I don't know who wanted to start.
I'll kick it off. So I come to the Giants in 2017. And so I guess when I first started playing, we us as a team, we never really made grand finals and whatnot. It wasn't until the bottom age of 17s, so the level up from under 14s, where I actually got to play my first AFL grand final. So so you've obviously, you've got your first game for the Giants. That's quite special, or you're playing your first grade debut and whatnot. But I'd probably say the first and only flag that I've won at the Giants probably takes the cake, because I feel like you had all your mates around you, and we lost to Orange earlier in that season. So to be able to kind of beat them when it really mattered the most as well, with a pretty convincing scoreboard as well, that definitely takes the cake. But even in my first year, when I was fresh on the scene in first grade, playing in the grand final the year after we won the comp, even though the result didn't go our way, I still think it was pretty cool to be able to do that, especially when I was only 16 at the time. So I'm playing against grown men, so I feel like that was pretty sick.
Yeah. Well, I'll go next. We'll just go along the line. So, mine's pretty similar to Lockie's. So, being able to coach that team that won it in 2022 with the under 17s with a lot of I think we had about a dozen bottom age players that had come up from the previous year's under 14s team. Which the amazing thing about that was that the boys that played in that 14s team the previous year, that team did not win a game that season.
Yeah, the whole season.
And I was fortunate enough that both of these boys were a part of that side that came up into the 17s team that I got to coach alongside Steve Mann and Peter Hunt. And grand final day to win it with 12 bottom age kids who hadn't had the success that they would have wanted in the previous years. Just to see how happy it made them was easily the highlight from my time at the club on a personal level. And that's the only premiership that I've won as a player and a coach that I've got framed, which probably speaks volumes. And then a very close second would be when we won our only first grade premiership in 2023.
Yeah.
Having played in those first years where we flat out winning games and we got flogged quite a lot, to see it all, that plan finally come to fruition, I suppose you could say, and get the ultimate for the club, that was absolutely awesome. And was fortunate enough to be the runner on that day as well, and to share that with my father and my two brothers. They both played in that premiership as well. So that's a very close second. But yeah, from a personal perspective, being able to coach these boys to that one in 2022 with after everything that had happened was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, no, mine probably have to be debut in first grade and first game I played with my brother. That was a pretty fun game. I remember absolutely stitched him up with the hospital ball. He got drilled. I was just yelling at him to get up so he kicked me the footy. But nah, yeah, probably that game or even last year in 17s. It's my last year in juniors. We won the flag. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. So yeah, other one of them too. They're both pretty good.
Yeah. So, well, that's probably got us for tonight. We managed to cover a fair bit, and we covered the points that we wanted to talk about for our intro episode. Obviously, we're really looking forward to the next few that we're going to be able to get to do, and obviously a big shout out to you, Ricky, with halfback for being able to get this going for us. This is really exciting, and we're looking forward to being able to get the club out there on a new platform.
No worries. Thank you for reaching out and coming on. One thing I do want to ask first. So, the footy club I used to do, we done a podcast during COVID where we actually spoke to a lot of international clubs, and we spoke to quite a few Giants clubs, and they were actually affiliated with the GWS Giants. Is that the same for you guys?
No, unfortunately. Would you believe when we actually started the club and we announced to the AFL, because you had to go through the process of getting it ticked off by the AFL or AFL New South Wales, and said we're going to be called the Giants. Even though we're in the GWS Giants catchment area, we were told we were not allowed to use anything resembling their logo. So the logo we have is you can't really see it on the screen, but it's just a big oval with the goalpost at each end with the BG and the year of establishment in the middle of it. Which I don't reckon too many clubs called the Giants can say they were told they weren't allowed to use the Giants logo. We found that very strange, but the best thing about our logo is it's unique.
Yeah,
I suppose we could say we've got a unique brand that we get to promote on the regular.
Yeah, that's actually baffled me because I would have thought, being that you are in the catchment area for GWS and the fact that clubs internationally have got partnerships with them, that you would have just made common sense for. Anyway, I don't understand how they work at head office in some places.
Yeah, no, you and us both.
We might stop that conversation there before someone says something we shouldn't.
Yeah.
No worries. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us tonight, and we look forward to doing another 3 episodes with you as the season goes on, and talk about the Bathurst Giants.
Beautiful. Thanks, Ricky. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.